As some of you know, I really don't like Robert Edward Grant. He's one of the many people out there misleading the masses currently. Here's his quote: "Judgment is the source of all suffering." And it looks like he just watched episode 1, Phantom Menace. Alright, so I left this on here. I said, "Robert, you blocked me on one of your accounts years ago for teaching people why light has no speed, but more importantly, why people who rattle off that light does have speed is an absolute fallacy. Possibly a little over a year ago, I saw a video on TikTok in which you changed your tune. Now you're telling the masses light has no speed. Coming from you, this post is an absolute hoot." What I want you guys to appreciate is, in a number of ways, Robert is confounding the masses. He's dragging what does reflect reality, very small bits and pieces, through loads of propaganda. Most likely he's controlled opposition, is my point. He used to work for Big Pharma, just to really color his character. You can't trust this guy as far as you can fucking throw him. He's also well-financed and well-circulated. He's not censored on the internet during patently fascist measures. You know, shadow banning, censorship, you know, through and through, cancel culture, censorship, polarizing positive vibes only, censorship. It's questionable, and you should question things like this, but most people aren't. So I threw this in here too because I've had a lot of popular reactions from people over the years. So proactive measures, whether it's Robert or one of the brainless kids who follow these accounts, when you demand the burden of proof, keep in mind, the burden of proof was put in place so that you don't think for yourself and you demand somebody else to think for you. In other words, spoon feed you what the masses are familiarized with, what they've been spoon fed, what they know based on a process of normalization, not something that somebody has reasoned out using critical thought, you know, logic, because logic be damned. Hopefully you understand what I'm getting at. Back to point. I'm not going to spoon feed it to you. I have an inner circle. Like, I've whittled this down over the years. If you're clever enough, you can find it and convince me. I can place my faith in you. Yeah, every Wednesday on You Know What, I was leaving people some videos. Here and there, I've been knocking out stuff. I'm debating on going back to that. I've just been putting time and energy into other things. I'm still leaving stuff online every single day throughout the numerous accounts I moderate. We shouldn't have to have all of these accounts just to be seen on the internet. It is a game. It's by design, not coincidence. And I am systematically censored through and fucking through. Meanwhile, people such as Robert Edward Grant, he has 29,000 people following this crap. Bits and pieces you'll find in here will reflect reality to varying degrees. But he is also using the paradigms that our masters have left the public. So quantum physics, shit like that. Nonsense. Fucking nonsense. And most of you will assume otherwise. Again, the burden of proof. You believe in it and you haven't looked into it. If you take the time, you'll see that it's absolute hogwash. It goes nowhere, means nothing, and is fuck all. What people like this are shopping around are rabbit holes, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for roots that reflect the branches. And this would stand to reason, but people don't understand how reality works, let alone what that looks like if you start to paint a big picture. I've never met somebody who has. You got people like this who are just smearing shit on the wall and telling you that it fucking looks cool and people talk about it. He's got some geometric designs, right? If you guys looked into this, and I could be wrong about this one, possibly, geomancy, geometry, geo this, geo that, that's the bad version, the maleffect version, if I'm not mistaken. And the word that is harmonious has been swept under the rug, and you're not going to find it in dictionaries and what have you. I found a couple sources through the research that still point to this other word that people do not know anymore. It's something you do not know. It's not something you're not supposed to know, if I'm correct about my assertion here. And it blows me away, which means people are shopping around, if this is true, the disharmonious version of something, which wouldn't be a big shock based on what people talk about these days. For the most part, people are talking at each other about fallacies, one fallacy on top of another. They're just compounded, and it's a load of rot. Usually I'll say it's 8 pounds of horse shit in a 2-pound bag, but what the fuck do I know? Oh yeah, this is me. And yesterday this account was deleted. Here, I'll just show you this. Where's it at? Oh, hold on, it's in here somewhere. So this is where they reinstated my account after telling me that it was, oh, hold on, if I can hold it down, there we go. They reinstated the account. They had told me that it was dead and done and that I could appeal it. I had 180 days to appeal it. So I was trying to go through the appeal process. Mind you, this is what happened when they finally logged me back in. First thing they did was they flagged me for something, and again, censorship, patently fascist censorship, which most people, they're not experiencing these things. You also got to challenge yourself and others, and most people aren't doing that. They're not doing the right thing to see that there are checks and balances based on what reflects reality versus the nonsense that people repeat today, which is a problem and is fucking us up. So this is the initial thing I got. And it's crazy. I got this out of the blue. I don't post spam. I've never posted spam. Perhaps the internet's definition of spam is different than mine. All the same, freedom of speech should exist regardless of the medium, and that should stand to reason, but people aren't fighting for things that matter. They're not. I joke around, people can't bring themselves to boycott Disney. So how likely is it that people would reconstitute the Republic, which fell during the Civil War and was finalized in 1871? It's pretty unlikely. Do you see people camping outside of grocery stores demanding that no poison be sold beside their food? I'm talking about genetically modified poison. No. Do you see people preventing aircraft from taking off of runways and crop dusting us with chemtrails? No, you see people out there claiming that chemtrails don't exist. And yet our masters are crop dusting us daily. Here in Portland, Oregon, at least they are. And it's disgusting. If you look into what we are breathing in, I mean, the skies are no longer healthy and no one's doing anything to stop this. You got a lot of health freaks out there, right? And yet, what are they ingesting? It's funny if you really just think about it in terms of lifestyle. I mean, what people are doing and what people claim they are doing and who people claim they are versus what they're experiencing and what they're willing to fight for, if they're willing to fight for anything. Usually what I'll say is complacency got us this far, and I already said it once, but what the fuck do I know? I am fucked with online for a reason. I could teach you things you're not supposed to know, but most of you are going to assume otherwise.